Sonic X Comic Issue 33. We start out with the writer not bothering to explain properly why the Chaotix are now back on Earth, when they saw them return to Mobius in the comic. Vector says that one minute the Chaotix were back on Mobius, and the next, Sonic was asking them for dating advice. And only then, somehow, only then, did they realize they were back on Earth. I get that the barriers between zones have been weakened for no reason at all, at least the Ultimate Annihilator was an excuse, but come on. Why did the writers even bother having them go back to Mobius and then back to Earth over and over again, without even showing us what their Mobius is like in Sonic X? What's the point? Amy, of course, overhears Vector saying that Sonic went to him for dating advice. Well, at least that wraps up a plot thread, a minor one, in the sense that Amy learns where Sonic got his dating ideas. Then Vector explains that what he did on Mobius was solve cases and fight battles. Charme says there was one case where they saved a kid who fell into one Eggman's abandoned secret layers. This panel just reminds me that I'd rather read a Sonic comic where the heroes were on Mobius. Even if ultimately what the civilians look like is irrelevant to the plot. We could have the humans all be echidnas, and the plots could stay exactly the same, and it'd feel much more Sonic-like, since instead of being boring realistic humans, they'd be a Sonic-exclusive anthropomorphic race. Then Knuckles references an anime episode, and Sonic mentions some of his adventures. After all that pointless padding, Chuck tells the heroes that he saw in his telescope that a meteor is heading to the South Pole of Earth, and there's an emerald inside of it. Inside of it? How did the emerald get there? I thought all the emeralds were stuck on the same planet as each other. Big's here apparently, and not in Paris. How did Big get out of Paris? Did he raise a bunch of money from a Kickstarter to afford an airplane to get out of Paris? Did he hitch a ride on a plane? I guess Tails brought him out there. Chris pointlessly decides to split his friends up into teams when Sonic could go to the South Pole and bring the Emerald back long before the rest of them could finish choosing teams, or even finish their sentences. So all that Chris is doing is wasting time, when the story has been nothing but padding so far. It's so stupid. It's like, even Sonic X itself had an entire episode where Sonic could have found the emerald in literal seconds, and instead he was selfish and made his friends look for it, and that screwed things up. What's the point of having a character with super speed if he's not going to use it correctly to get the emerald quickly? It's like, at that point, feels like the speed is a story breaker power, since they have to make up a stupid excuse to explain why he doesn't get the emerald for them in 2 seconds, so they can have an entire plot around getting the emerald. They could have had him be captured, and that would have explained him not getting the emerald instantly better. Or the emerald could be, like, underground to require other people to dig for it. Oh wait, Sonic can spin dash into the ground. Never mind. The emerald could be trapped in a mountain, or, like, trapped in metal that Sonic couldn't spin dash through. They could write it more naturally than this. Literally all SPU has to do to convince Sonic to go along with this crap is asking Sonic if he's afraid of competition. He's so easy to manipulate. I'd expect that of Scourge, but Sonic's a little smarter than that. It would make sense if he deep down wanted to go along with Chris's idea, and wants to take any excuse he can, but this is so stupid. This is so easy. What a waste of time. Is the entire story going to be padding purely thanks to Sonic being stupid and Chris? Why do they need to be teams? It would have made sense if Sonic took a sick day and he wasn't doing anything. Then it would have made sense that they needed to do this. Chris says he wants to show everybody that Sonic's friends can be great adventurers too. So even the writer realizes the problem with Sonic X, where Sonic's friends are overshadowed by the overpowered Gary Sue. So then just have Sonic be sick. Sonic runs up to the South Pole and learns that speed, ice, and water don't mix, as he ends up falling in the freezing water, where it turns out the emerald is. It does make sense that he would slip on the ice when running, no matter how fast he runs. How the hell did all Sonic's friends get here so fast? This is ridiculous. This is just like in the baseball episode of Sonic X, where All of Sonic's friends manage to get to the baseball park at the exact same time, despite Sonic's faster than sound travel. Sonic says he hates water, and then someone calls them wimps and goes into the water, and it turns out to be Rouge, who probably dies from hypothermia. No, of course not. Neither did Sonic! Rouge steals the meteor because I guess Gun detected the emerald with a radar right away, and she went to find it. Why do the heroes care whether she gets it or not? All that matters is that the emerald's out of reach of Eggman, and it'd be better if she had the emerald, because Eggman would never guess that she had it. I think he would think either Sonic's friends have it, or nobody has it. Instead, the heroes are going to be totally selfish and try to get the emerald just because they were planning on doing that. Sonic spin dashes, and the meteor ends up in the cave, so Sonic carries it, while Eggman is busy vacationing in Brazil. That was a random excuse to have him not be part of the plot. But at least it was one. And he gave his robots instructions to never interrupt him. But since when does Eggman ever take a vacation? But it does humanize him to make him actually want to take a vacation. It's unrealistic that he never would. But the robot sidekicks are too lazy and just want to take a day off, despite Bokun's exciting suggestion. This is all just a random excuse to have the enemies for the story be Sonic's friends and not Eggman. I mean, they are competing with each other, on Chris's suggestion. It's not like they hate each other and have turned traitor against each other. Sonic taunts Knuckles that he'll always be faster than him, go figure, but he's still just behind him. So they must be going with the Sonic 3 logic, because Knuckles is still super fast, just not as fast. Because really, Sonic should completely outrun them and leave them in the dust instantly. It's interesting to see Sonic competing with his friends, but it's also pointless. And this is like Sonic Rivals, where they compete with each other for no reason when it'd be faster and better and smarter to just work together. Knuckles kicks away the meteor because he's somehow caught up with Sonic when he's not faster than him at all. I guess Sonic doesn't want to win, and somehow Knuckles is in the lead, immediately invalidating the story because that would never happen, ever. Knuckles is in the lead in a race with Sonic. Knuckles is in a lead in the race with Sonic. You know, that's the silliest sentence ever. This whole story shouldn't have happened. It turns out the heroes coincidentally stumbled into Eggman when they were fighting over the meteor, and happened to be fighting over it near his mud bath. This is so unlikely, but at least it's funny. This gets Eggman covered in mud, and he blames the robots, because apparently the robots were near his mud bath all along, not all the way back at his base, when he gave instructions for them to not bother him. Well, I guess he would need them around because there was only friends and servants, but still. So close to him? Tails tells Rouge that she has a run in her stockings, and that's somehow enough to distract her so we can steal the meteor from her. Lamest excuse ever. What does run in her stockings even mean? How would he know what that means? Tails says nervously that Amy wouldn't be uncharacteristically evil enough to hit him with her mallet, but she has no problem threatening him with it, even though she says so herself that it was Sonic who treats her badly and not Tails. It's like, the writer, does he know that it's a problem or not? He shouldn't be, this is not who Amy is, this is totally Flanderizing Amy. This is Amy at her absolute worst. Like at the end of Riders, and at the end of Sonic and the Black Knight. It feels like Tails is being wrong genre savvy, where he thinks he's talking to a different continuity Amy, like the Fleetway Amy, who indeed wouldn't be evil enough to hit him with her mallet. Even if they are competing, why would you hit your friend with a sledgehammer when you're competing with them? She could slap him, she could not have her mallet at all. Sonic, Big, and Tails are all on the same team. Big being Sonic's team, that's weird. So I guess Amy wants to win instead of Sonic's team as a whole, but I don't get the feeling that they're working together in teams. I've always had the feeling that it's every man for themselves, and they're all trying to prove themselves to Sonic. Like it's Sonic Free Riders all over again. Like in that game, they're all totally obsessed with inferiority complexes over Sonic. Which was built up to properly, foreshadowed by the fact that Sonic's overshadowed them ever since he was like a creator's pet who's totally overpowered. Rouge says she doesn't wear stockings, and that revelation makes it completely idiotic that she ever fell for Tails' trick, when she's supposed to be smart. They get hit by something that Rouge somehow threw at them, and Sonic brings Chuck the meteor, because of course he has to win every single time in the history of the universe. So why didn't he win instantly? It's not like he didn't want to win earlier, so why didn't he just get back to Chuck in 3 seconds? Although, the world is so big that even running at the speed of sound, it would take you 14 days to get to the other side of the world. But usually Sonic travels faster than sound, so that's not it. The meteor turns out to be empty, completely hollow. Chuck asks why Rouge even showed up if there wasn't an emerald. Yeah, why did she show up? Well, that's explained, fortunately. When Knuckles and Sonic were fighting over the meteor, the Chaos Emerald fell out, rather than it being inside of it, like lodged inside of it. And why was it even hollow in the first place? Seriously, how did all of these characters other than Sonic go all across the world like him when they don't have super speed? It's not like they all drank a Sonic tonic. I could understand if they were in planes, but they're not. This story sucks. I could understand Sonic running from the South Pole to Brazil and back. But how were his friends keeping up with him the whole time and got back to Chuck fast enough that even the Sonic speed isn't actually fast enough to run across the whole world because the world is just that big? Joe Edkin wrote this, rather than Flynn, apparently. And while it is a change of pace to have Sonic competing with his friends instead of fighting Eggman for once, literally the whole story felt like padding. Sonic would have found the meteor and brought it back in seconds because of how fast he is. He's usually portrayed as running faster than sound, like in Archie, for example. So it's not like it makes sense because he's as fast as you would expect someone at Sonic's speed to be, and that he can't actually cross the whole planet. Because I don't think it's ever said in Sonic X that he can only run as fast as sound. Like, normally he's supposed to be really, really fast. And there's no way in hell that his friends would have been fast enough to have even the remotest chance of competing with them properly on a race to the South Pole and back. And yet, they all keep up with each other. Actually, good writing would give the heroes all speed charms that would slow Sonic down and make all of them fast. Not so fast that the story should have been over in seconds, but fast enough that it makes actual sense that they do their globe trotting without planes in a really short amount of time. This story is what happens when the writer forgets how fast Sonic is, and forgets how slow the other characters are. Knuckles shouldn't have had a chance against Sonic in a race. Sonic should have effortlessly left him in the dust. Knuckles isn't as powerful as Pender's Knuckles was, so it's not like he got a speed boost that way. While having Sonic lose was a change of pace, it wasn't one that made sense, and that's never worth it in the writing department. All of them looked immature by wasting time competing with their friends over the emeralds out of nowhere. Is this what they turn into when Eggman's not around? They find enemies in each other because they don't have a real villain to fight? I get that they all want more respect from Sonic, but Sonic was just being confident as usual. And he has no reason not to be confident because he has super speed. It was literally right about being able to find the emerald before they could. But SPO made him look so easily manipulated just to force him to go along with what they would do when the whole story would have ended in seconds if he acted remotely in character and took off from impatience before they could even finish making their own team. You know, because Sonic's impatient. But no, all SPO has to do is call him chicken, and Sonic becomes desperate to prove he's not afraid when there was no realistic chance of him losing. He should have run to the emerald and found it long before they would. Rouge shouldn't have been nearly fast enough to get to the meteor at the time she did, when she was needed to take it out of the freezing water. And there's no way she and Sonic would have been able to handle the freezing water. Logically, they should have had to rely on a machine to get the emerald for them. That would have justified Sonic not getting the emerald in seconds, because the meteor naturally went through the ice and fell into the water. But instead, Rouge is just as fast as Sonic, and gets the meteor from the hypothermia water immediately with no consequences to herself. None of them drank a Sonic tonic, so how is this plot even possible? It's not like it's a race with clearly defined rules where Sonic has to drive a car to be fair to the other drivers, because they're not in cars, which would have justified this as well. Sonic has no reason to go easy on them in the speed department because he wants to win, not lose, and he's never told to slow down for them, which he'd just be really annoyed by because it'd be basically a rule forcing him to let them win. At least it was a nice twist ending that because the Chaos Emerald fell out, someone other than Sonic the Sega mascot won the competition. Because while he did get the meteor to Chuck, the meteor didn't have what they were competing for. But why would the meteor be so hollow that the emerald could just fall out of it? If the emerald happened to telefrag itself with the meteor when it got sent to it, it would be a part of the meteor, and it would take a lot more effort than that to get it out of it. That doesn't look like a meteor when it's that hollow. It looks more like a fake prop for a movie. What a waste of time. Sure, Sonic can't swim in freezing water, but everything after the meteor was retrieved from the water was pure padding.